I am a student. I'm a senior at George Washington University down in DC.
I used to live in, well, DC.
I love DC. I'm really excited about DC. I'm doing this presentation. It's going to be Social Media 101. I put together some slides, but it's really going to depend a lot on what you guys want, what you want to know. So I'm just going to start out. Feel free to interrupt me with questions. I'll probably go through kind of quickly so that then we can just do like free form talk about whatever, because I expect that's what's going to be most helpful. Okay, so what is social media? I Googled it and I pulled up a couple different definitions. These are the ones that I thought were really good. So the first one is technology and practices that people use to share opinions, insights, experiences, and perspectives with each other. Okay, so something where people are sharing with each other. Okay, software tools allow groups to generate content and engage in peer-to-peer conversations. Social media are works of user-created video, audio, text, multimedia that are published and shared in a social environment, such as blah, blah, blah. So this is saying a lot of user-created stuff. There's a lot of sharing. There is the internet. The internet is kind of like the focal point of this. Okay, so here's my list of what social media is and isn't. And you can ask everyone at this conference and everyone will give you a different answer. They will create a different list for you. So I'm saying social media is something dynamic. It is not something static. It is not when you go to a web page and you see there's just a block of text. Social media lets you engage in that text somehow, either by leaving a comment, writing your own block of text, or comments are sort of the easiest way to do that. There's a picture, see a comment, whatever. Social media is a place to listen. It is not a place to broadcast. I think one way that people kind of go wrong with social media is that they use it a lot to say, they self-promote. Say, this is my business, we're so great, we're so great, we're so great. Which isn't really different from when you had just a website that was, your own website. It is, like I said, a place to interact, share, collaborate, not a place to air all your grievances or self-promote. Put an asterisk there, because sometimes you do just want to whine, and you want to say, man, I really hate that this happened. Sometimes you say, I'm working on a great project, and that's great. Like, you should be proud of like the work you're doing, and it is like the same way that you would tell your friends, like, hey, I got this cool job. But you also would not tell your, like, that's not all you would say to your friends. That's obnoxious. Like, in the same way that in like your own personal community, you don't want someone just talking about themselves all the time. You don't want that online either. You want to listen, talk to people, have conversations that go both ways. And then my last one was that social media is a marketing tool. It is not a marketing strategy. And this, I think that's a really important distinction. I will work mostly with social media, but I don't expect that to be, if I'm working with an organization, I know that that is not the only way they are putting themselves out there. And it shouldn't be. It's not a cure-all. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it is a really, really helpful tool. Okay, so here, just a quick rundown of some different tools. Does anyone not know what a blog is? Okay. Does anyone not know what a microblog is? Okay, a microblog is, it's like a blog, but it's smaller. Things like Twitter are going to be the most popular examples. You have 140 characters or less, and you'll put out your updates, and all your friends can see those. You can see theirs. You can subscribe to theirs. It works like a Facebook status. Social networks are kind of a really fuzzy definition. I don't really know what to call them. But examples are like Facebook, OkCupid, LinkedIn, which by the way you should all be using. It's a professional social network. And you don't, if you use Facebook, it's not like Facebook where often you'll check it, all the time to see what your friends are up to. It's a sort of, you just sort of let it sit there, but it's good to kind of just cultivate it, like let it be there. Like I just have like my job experiences, I keep my contacts there. I don't check it often, but I like to keep it up to date. I made it last year when I was a junior. I wasn't looking for a job yet, but I wanted to have it all set up for when I am looking for a job. It's just a really good professional network. It's a good way to connect online with people in a professional way. And then also just media sharing. So things like YouTube and Flickr. YouTube where you can share videos, Flickr photos. These allow you to engage with the media. You can leave comments. You can add them to the group. You can tag them. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of how I've used this. I work with a theater company in DC. I do social media for them. They're my favorite company ever, and I get free tickets out of it sometimes. So that's pretty great. So what I did with Synetic is I took them from okay, here is, I don't know, I thought I had this one up, sorry. Okay, here's Synetic's website. Can't really see it so well. Okay, here we go. It's really not a great website. I don't like it. It's, and I have no control over that. Actually, even my contact person there has limited control over it. So that's one of my pet peeves. But despite that, not a great website. But what I can control is I can control the way that, or I can affect the way that this group is interacting with people online. So what I said was, okay, basically you've got a website and you've got a Facebook group. Does everyone know what Facebook is? Good, okay. And they were both pretty stagnant. Like they put up information on the website, again, the website that I don't like. And it wasn't, this is a very vibrant company. They should really be capturing the young adult market, and they're just not reaching it. They're getting a lot of the more traditional theater goers, which is great, but this type of group should be able to get a much younger audience. So what we tried to do is sort of get them where that younger audience is. So a couple things I did. First I switched them to a Facebook page, and this has been really big. The Facebook group, no one really interacted with. It was just there. No one, and actually Facebook really helped me with this. The way that platform has changed, they've made the way you interact with pages much different. It will come to you rather than you having to go to it, which is a really important thing. Yes.
So this is a fan page, is what you're
Yes,
saying?
this is a fan page. This is significantly, and I can't take credit for fan pages. I really do like Facebook's fan pages. I think they can be used really well. I did not write them, but you can use them as an organization really well. So we put together a fan page, and the most important part of this has been the wall. So we'll post things like, hey, Dracula is opening this week, and they're going to be there. So I did that, yesterday. Got a couple comments, and that's the important thing. That now they are fans are engaging. That will pop up on their feed, and they sort of see that, and that's a reminder. Oh, hey, that's right, that theater group that I like.
So is that separate from their website?
Yes, this is separate from their website. This is on a completely different social network, but the fans are going to be on Facebook anyway. They're not going to necessarily be going to this group's website. And so you want to kind of meet them where they are, and they are on Facebook. This is probably our most important tool, I think, the way that it's let us engage with people. Yes?
I just noticed that thing that link your page to your Twitter account.
Yes, we have actually done that. I don't know why it says that.
Because that's how you do that.
Pardon me?
How do you do that? I would like to do that.
Well, if you've got a page, it will.
Yeah, go to, you can find, maybe, is it fast to do?
I have no idea. I didn't do it. There's the other guy
You
who.
just click on it, it'll take you through the steps.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So.
very easy to do.
Yep,
Okay.
it'll just take you in, you will put in your password for your Twitter account, and whenever you post on Facebook, it'll post the same thing on Twitter.
And that was my
And vice
question.
versa.
Yeah.
Next question was, is your fan page linked to their website?
No.
Is there a reason why?
No.
So that's a good idea.
It could be done.
Yes, it could be.
The other thing,
I'm not involved with the website.
a lot of people have both fan page and a friend page for their work. Can you do that, or?
We could, I think Facebook actually kind of prefers that you do as just a normal Facebook page, it's just a person, if you're gonna be an organization, to use it as a fan page.
But they don't.
I don't think there's a way to create a fan page unless you're already an account. You have to.
Oh,
You have to
is that the
have,
question?
you can't just get in without having your own
Right.
page.
Yeah.
Which is simple enough to do, if you don't, even if you don't wanna really be involved with Facebook, you can just make a quick account and
Yeah,
then.
you don't have to.
But I mean-
Populate it, as long as you have your name and your spelling.
Yeah, but right now we have a fan page, but we don't have a friend page for our organization.
You
You
just,
probably,
whoever set it up to
Yeah.
their individual account.
Yeah.
you
What's
probably
the
don't.
difference?
Well, the difference, it's most of the friend pages are individuals. So like I have a Facebook page, Sean has a Facebook page, a lot of people in here are gonna have a Facebook page. And then what this is the organization's Facebook page. It's just a little bit different in the way it works, but you can still connect to people. People will be your fans, and they'll sort of follow what you're doing. I would say normally a fan page is enough. If you want me to add a group, but I've stopped using this group. I've phased it out.
You don't use the group?
No, I've every once in a while I'll send out messages saying if you're not on the fan page yet, get there because we are just putting out lots of information there. We're not telling you over here.
What's the difference?
Facebook pages are much. They can do a lot more. The way that when I'll update the status. So yesterday I updated the status and Dracula's coming is opening next week. That showed up on people's newsfeed. If I did anything to the group, that wouldn't show up. So when they log on, they see, this person did this person said that. That's showing up in there. The group is something they have to go to. Again, it's something where this is going to bring it to them. The way that I'm saying use Facebook rather than, because I have no control over the site, I hate the site. Like they're like getting it redesigned, but it's taking forever. So bring it to them. That's going to be a lot more effective. Also, there's just a lot more capabilities. I can, what do I do? Oh, I can do updates. So like when you get an update, like some fan page did this, I can send out those. It just works because it has the wall. So people can write on the wall, they can post whatever, I can post whatever on that wall. It just, it's a lot more visible than other groups work.
Did you proactively go after the followers or the fans, or did they come to you?
Both. We went after them. You can suggest a page to a friend. So I had my friend who works with the theater company, he just sent out a list to all the actors saying, invite all your friends. So once he did that, we got a couple hundred. And so that since then it's sort of been steadily growing. I think I know they started putting it in their email blast that, hey, we're on Facebook. They mentioned it at a couple events, I know. So the initial push was us going out and like telling people and saying, hey, you might like this.
But you didn't use any of these Facebook things where you pay X amount and they'll target.
No, we haven't used any Facebook ads. I have used Facebook ad once just to sort of try it out for another page I did for them. I don't know a lot about ads, so I can't really help you out with that. But no, we didn't. We just went and we did it by like word of mouth, basically.
And then just one more thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like what you're saying is that if you have an organization page, you really need to have a personal page that you're using to target, your friends. I mean, can you do it with just the organizational page, or do you need to have?
I believe that you need to have a personal page to create the organization page.
Well, you can create the organization page as the place where I work, we have an organization page, but I feel like I'm limited because every time I want to do something, it's asking for a personal account to search for people to do things like that.
Right.
So it feels like there's some interplay.
Then yeah, I would say you need to have a personal account, but you don't necessarily need to be very active with it. It sounds like you might need it to be able to use a lot of the functions, The way we used it, I created this account, I linked up Ben and one or two other people who are involved with the theater company, and so now we're admins, and we can go and invite people, and go and change stuff. So we're doing that through our personal accounts, but it's all on this one.
Okay.
Kathleen, what about causes?
Causes is really interesting. I haven't used them a lot. They're really, they raise a lot of money for different things. I know I've got, let me go over here. Got a friend who really uses his cause page.
Cause, C-A-U-S-E?
Yep, it's a Facebook application, that, please, okay. It's a Facebook application that, they created a little while ago that allows you to sort of recruit people to your cause, be it like breast cancer awareness or this like nonprofit or this whatever. You can recruit people and you can also raise money. You can organize stuff. It's a pretty interesting application. This is their page, not their cause. Okay. Okay. So I know that my friend Dan uses their cause. That's where he puts out a lot of the information for his organization. I think some causes have been really successful. Actually, a lot of causes have been really successful. I haven't used them a lot. I haven't started any, so I can't tell you a whole lot. If you're not organizing people, or if you're not raising money or organizing people, I don't necessarily think that you need one, but that's a major opinion.
Well, the reason I asked, I work for a nonprofit that helps the troops, so
Okay.
I'm trying to do all of that, but I got on Facebook and I started a fan page and a group page and a cause and stuff. I'm trying to figure out which ones are gonna help
Okay.
us the most.
I would say, I'm not sure though, I would say that I think a fan page is gonna have the, you two are both nodding.
Yeah.
I think a fan page is gonna have the best reach, again, because it's gonna show up on your newsfeed. It's going, when you log in, it's going to pop up and say, you know, this group just said this. That's the one that comes to you, that's got the best reach. The groups, again, you have to go to the groups. The causes are a little bit like, causes can come to you, like you can send out messages, like I get emails and stuff from my causes, but I think that the pages are simple and they are effective. That's my opinion. Yes.
Just interesting thing. I actually just was thinking about all this. I was a member of a group that would send me like a message every day.
Yeah.
Like about something that I was like tangentially caring about, but like I really did need a message like every single day to like.
It can get really spammy.
No, but it
Wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. No, and actually, I prefer the fan page because it does show up on the feed, so like I can sort of access it whenever I want. I literally,
You can hide it.
actually, yeah, I can hide it, and I
If you
literally
want to, you can,
actually,
that's good.
I enjoyed the group because I felt like it was spam.
Right.
And it's really sad because the group's cause is actually something that I think is important, but like it just really was just annoying. I was just like, I can't deal with this anymore.
I would say with all social media, you have to be really careful about not overdoing
Right.
it. Because people, like you said, you care about the cause, but if it's all you see, when you open up your Twitter page, if it's 15 of the same person's stuff, you're gonna unfollow them because you can't. You can't keep up with it. It's like having, your friend tells you 15 times a day.
Right.
It's a burden,
It does become hard. Right.
On our group, I have a little rule, I always look at my email box, and if I haven't sent an email out in 6 weeks, I allow myself to send an email. But if it's been sooner than that, I don't send it.
Right, you don't ever want to get spammy.
Right. That's a big turnoff. It's obnoxious. Nobody likes that. Like, I don't like having my inbox filled with stuff. Like, some people I know will, like, I'm pretty, like, anal about my inbox. Like, I keep it, like, on Facebook, like, I keep it empty. But, like, like I'll see my friends open their Facebook and they have like several hundred messages unopened, and that's because they got groups or whatever sending the messages, and it's just overwhelming. So when you get like that, people, when you overdo it, people will start to ignore you. Like there's an organization that I worked for, but like I stopped reading the messages they were sending. Like I mean, I would read my work email, but like on Facebook, the messages they were sending me, I was like, this is too much. We had different thoughts about how to do that. Yes.
But at the same time, like I totally agree with everything with Facebook, but with Twitter, it's kind of, it's a fine line between like spamming and being there often enough to be seen. Because if somebody's following like, I don't know, 300 people, if you say something at 10 o'clock by 10:15, it's not on extreme.
You're saying interesting things though, if you keep
Right,
the issue
exactly.
relevant, it's not the same thing as just putting the same thing.
Yeah.
Can I make a confession? I gotta get this today. I just joined Twitter 2 weeks ago. I know nothing about it.
Okay.
How do I get people to follow me and how do I follow people?
Okay, the way you're gonna follow somebody
Tell me
is
that.
if you go to their page,
Go to their page.
yeah,
Well, like, that's the first problem. Like, I went to get to the page today.
which
because
page?
for this pod conference, and I put the Twitter account in there, and it didn't find it. So I said, how am I gonna get to their page if I can't find
Their
it?
search for people isn't that great. So once you get to a page, you just have to know their name. So it'll be twitter.com/whoever. The account for PodCamp is PCPGH.
I thought it was PCPH4, so I was looking for that.
This is the one that they use every year for the conference.
Okay.
The hashtag is PCPGH4. And we do the hashtag is those will allow, pardon me? PCPGH4.
Except on the form, it actually still says PGPG3,
Okay, well that's last year.
which I accidentally used.
So
So you go to their page.
PodCamp PGH. So you go to their page and you'll click through the button here. I happen to be following, right? I guess we'll unfollow. Follow.
Okay, there it is.
There we go. Okay, so you'll go to their page. There'll be a little follow button. Yay! Now we're following PodCamp Pittsburgh.
Now, what if you got a couple of Twitter addresses like I do?
You're gonna have to
Have
go
to do
through
them one
each-
at a time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go through each one to follow them.
Log out, log in.
Yep.
All that stuff.
Yeah, it's a pain, but there are certain applications like Twirl that'll let you
Can you do that, can you do it with TweetDeck? I just set that up.
you can, I haven't used TweetDeck in a while. You can, I know at Twirl you can be logged into a couple accounts at once. You still have to like follow it from each one, but you don't have to log out or log back in. I don't know, does TweetDeck let you be logged into a couple accounts?
Yeah.
They do now? Okay. Yes, TweetDeck will let you do that apparently. Yeah, so you'll follow them. The way you get people to follow you is wait.
Wait.
Let your community know that you're on Twitter.
Post it on Facebook.
Yeah, so tell your friends, like people on Facebook, be like, hey, we're on Twitter.
For my organization, what we've been doing is people that we want to follow us, we started
You follow
following
them
them.
first.
And then also, in our email signatures, we have like, connect with us and like all of our different.
Yeah, I know, at the place I worked in the spring, we started putting that down at the bottom of all our emails, just, hey, we're on Facebook and Twitter and whatever now.
Okay.
And this is my opinion, but it's a very, very strong opinion about Twitter. I feel very, very, very strongly that you should not do thanks for following messages, especially not automatic ones. I also don't really suggest you automatically refollow people. Like go by do it manually, but if you come across with a robot, there are ways that there are applications I guess that will let you, as soon as somebody follows you, it'll automatically follow them back for you. I don't really recommend you do that because you look like a robot. I follow back everyone who follows me on that Synetic account, but I'll go in every couple days to do that. The other thing is a lot of times when you follow someone, they'll automatically send you back a message that say, hey, thanks for following. I really hate that. A lot of people really hate that.
I wouldn't follow because I think they're robot and not a robot.
Right, it's not, again, my opinion, other people won't agree with me. I feel like it's very not genuine. If you're saying, hey, thanks for following, you don't have anything to say to me yet. We don't know each other. In a couple weeks, if we're talking, sure, send me a direct message. Especially, I know I used to get direct messages sent to my cell phone, and it was really annoying. I don't want a text message. Like if I've got 400 text messages a month, I don't want an automatic text message saying, hey, thanks for following me. Come look at my website. It comes across very cheap, very like you're just looking to exploit them.
Annoying. So another question, somebody mentioned earlier that you can get your Facebook posts to go over to Twitter. What if Facebook doesn't have a limit on the number of characters, what happens then?
Oh, it'll just,
Truncate them?
yeah, I think it'll link back to your Facebook page. It just puts a link at the end that goes back to your Facebook page. So that, yeah, and I would agree with what you said earlier about followers, that what I've done on my accounts are I go find the type of people who I think would be interested, I go follow them. And then for a long time, I'll have a ton more followers than, I'll be following a lot more people than are following me, but that's okay. Follower counts are not everything. My personal Twitter account, I get a lot of new followers a day, and I can't imagine that more than one of them actually cares what I have to say. And it's really annoying, because they're just inflated numbers, and it's silly.
So why are they following you?
They're following me. I need to take social media out of my profile. In my bio, I know I say the word social media. You get a lot of marketing people to follow you that way. A lot of people just follow indiscriminately because they want you to follow back. What a lot of people do is they'll follow you, and then if you don't follow back, they'll unfollow you. And it's because they're really focused on numbers, and that's silly. What Twitter is good at is conversation. Twitter will let you, okay, so here's what I'm doing with Synetic. We'll throw in stuff comes in from Facebook, but I'll also do tweets. And what I like to do is, whenever anybody mentions us, you can go in and search if someone mentioned you. And Synetic's a pretty unusual word, so it's always really easy. So people will be like, oh, I went and saw Synetic last night. I'll always tweet them back and be like, oh, did you like it? What did you think? Have you seen a Synetic show before? Engage, the point of using social media is to engage with people. It's not to just spit information out at them. What's his name? Justin was saying this morning, it's a two-way street. And I think, to me, that's one of the most important things. I get really, that's why I say, it is not just about self-promotion. Sure, we are using that. We are, none of those are. I put out, hey, Dracula's starting this week, or, there's a Pay What You Can preview on Thursday. Letting people know about it, but I want to talk to them about it. I want, so anytime somebody will mention us, I'll always talk to them. And it builds up a community. That's really important.
Well, I guess, how do you know? Because, if I can only check it a couple of times a day or something, or, because I can't have 400 text messages coming into my phone, how do you know people are talking about it?
Twitter search. Twitter search is a fantastic, fantastic tool.
What did you just say?
Twitter search.
Oh, Twitter.
There was a website called Sumize that Twitter bought, I don't know, a year ago, I don't know, which does real-time search of what people are saying online. It is a fantastic tool. It is one of the best parts of Twitter. They bought them up, and that was smart because the guys who made it are very smart. I said smart a lot. Okay, so here we're at, okay, this is my Twitter page. So, okay, over on the side here, we've got search. Close that. This one, please. I could just look at the computer, that would have been easier. Here, okay, we've got a search bar. These are my saved searches, things that I'm searching for a lot. For me, those are GW, that's where I go to school. Synetic at Synetic Theater, because I don't feel like logging into the other account, so I will check from my account, is anyone talking about us, is anyone talking to us? and then Podcast Pittsburgh.
What's the difference between Cinetic and at Cinetic Theater again?
Pardon me?
What's the difference between Cinetic
Oh,
and
okay.
at Cinetic Theater
At
again?
Cinetic Theater is the name of my Twitter account for that group. But a lot of people, you know, who went to a show don't necessarily know that we have a Twitter account, but they will tweet, hey, I just saw this great Cinetic show. So when someone's talking about us,
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, I'll reply to them. And then they'll know that we have a Twitter account. But they don't have to know that to, you know, talk about us.
So Cinetic is just as opposed to at Cinetic Theater, is just a keyword?
Yep,
Or-
yep.
okay.
Yeah, you can just search for words, hashtags, just a brief sort of thing of hashtags. Hashtags, that's just when there's like a pound symbol before a word. They aren't as necessary, I think, as they used to be now that Twitter search is around. But what's really good about them is it's a way to tag your tweets, like we are doing with PodCamp Pittsburgh. Just stick it on the end of your tweets, so anyone can search for, you know, pound PCPGH4 and see what everyone's saying about them. They're really convenient.
What is trending topics?
Trending topics are things that lots of people are talking about. So
Lots of people
today-
that you're following or? just
No, everybody.
Everybody, the whole. the whole world.
So let's see. Today we're talking about the Nobel Peace Prize, Marge Simpson, LSU. One of the annoying things about trending topics is that they very quickly turn very spammy. So like the spammy dudes on Twitter will just mention a trending topic and link to their informed site or whatever. So that gets really annoying. But so when you see like Michael Jackson is a trending topic like 5 weeks after he died, none of them are actually talking about Michael Jackson anymore. It's just it was a trending topic and they kept it going with spam. So that's a major like fallback of this. But okay, so we were saying with search. So I on my account, I want to know if anyone's talking about Cinetic. I will go. I've saved the search, but what you normally do, you just go into this little bar, type in Cinetic, enter, and okay, this is what people have been saying about Cinetic lately. So that's all you need to do to find out if people are talking about you. Just search for, you know, words. I'll use, you know, whatever play they're running. So in next week I'll start looking for Dracula when that play starts.
So when you build something and you reply from, where does it go back to? Does it go back to Twitter or does it go somewhere else?
It goes on back to Twitter. It's going to be on your Twitter stream just like any of your other tweets. It'll say at whoever, and it'll be on your Twitter stream. Only people who are following that person will see that. That's sort of a feature of Twitter now. You used to be able to pick how you wanted that, and then they got rid of that. Yes.
I get an email every so often from Progress Pittsburgh, and it's just a list of tweets. Is there some way that you create those kind of groups on Twitter, or how does that?
Ask me that again. I think the answer is probably yes, but I don't quite understand.
Well, I get this email from Progress Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Basically, it's just a list of tweets.
From whom?
All different people who have tweeted Progress Pittsburgh. And I don't know if they do that or if.
Well,
Or
one
it's a
way you
Twitter
could
thing.
do it is, that's convenient. You could set up a search and then grab the RSS feed for that search and then have it. have
Just
it-
email those up. It's probably a robot. that
Right,
does this,
so
yeah.
you can do that, whatever it says.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because what I'm pulling up is a search for people who are tweeting me, and I could just grab that RSS feed and have that sent to me. Yes.
I came in a little late, so forgive me if this was touched on, but you were obviously the theater group, and I, among other things, am a musician, and my question is, does MySpace even matter
Yes.
anymore?
Yes, it matters for music. I have not ever had, wait, no, that's not true. I did have a MySpace account to download a friend's song for the band. And MySpace may still be the biggest social network? No?
No, Facebook.
Now Facebook, okay, well that happened recently. So MySpace still is really big. I remember I actually asked that question a couple months ago. I remember, what's does MySpace matter? And the response I got was, it matters for music.
That's what it was created for in the first place too. MySpace was created for musicians
I know,
initially,
was
so
actually created-
that's kind of found its equal,
It's-
equalized, it's gone back to that,
Yeah.
it does really well.
Yeah,
So
it does.
it's
Like,
like-
all
It
music.
does it somewhat well, except that it's hard, the graphics are horrible, and even when you try
I
to
think it's just
customize
like-
everything.
It's
looks
music
awful.
out there.
Yeah,
But
and
then
it
you-
depends on, I think, what you wanna use it for, but
Right.
it, I never used MySpace, but it is, but I think it definitely still has value for musicians.
But not
Um,
outside of music, that's interesting, okay.
That's where I would, if I were talking about using MySpace, I would probably just be talking about it for music. But there are probably, like, other people who don't think that. Again, I don't use MySpace ever, so I'm not really an authority on that.
Demo wise, it skews younger stuff, so,
Yeah.
so if you're like, so still like 15 to 21-year-olds are still using MySpace
Yeah.
more than they're using Facebook.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm a marketer, so, when we look at messages, type of messages, and we're trying to reach that particular audience, that it becomes useful. So like, real quick on the Twitter search thing, I think that's gonna be the most valuable thing that, 10 years from now, we're gonna be talking about
Yeah.
why Twitter was useful.
Yeah.
Like, when we look at new clients, and we're trying to figure out what people are saying about them, that we've never had this information before. It's
Yeah.
like instant market
Yeah,
research.
like Google's working on a real-time search
Right.
is very, it's fantastic.
Before you'd have to go out and, spend a day, interview people, and you get, we look at like target clients, and we'll just type in that particular client and hear what everybody's saying about them, particularly in consumers. And then from there you can develop messages around that particular client. So say you have somebody that is, avid about a particular brand of stereo, and then all of a sudden you can create advertising messages that cater just to those people,
Yeah.
and then it's never been seen before.
Right.
And if you're looking for yourself, your own organization, if there's something negative about you out there, you can address it right away.
Yeah, that's a really important thing. I know with the group I worked with last spring, they're a watchdog group, and there was a bill that they were really pushing for, and there was a lot of rumor mongering about this bill, and they were saying, if these things were true, we are a watchdog group, if these things were true, we would totally be against this bill, but they're not true. And so we went on Twitter, we were looking like, okay, what are people saying, kind of where it is coming from? So that was a really interesting thing we were able to do, and then we were able to address it. By, putting out blog posts, sending out emails saying, there are these rumors going around about this bill, and here is what's true. They're not gonna take your pets away, they're not gonna, they're not gonna kill all, farmers markets, that's not what this will be, yes.
How long do you spend a day or a week doing the Facebook and Twitter for Sonata?
Wait, asking how often?
Yeah, I mean, how much of your week does it take up managing
Not a
that?
lot, to be honest. I'm not the only one, Ben works on it too, but, I really don't spend that long on it. I will check it, I'll check the Twitter page. Every couple days I'll go in and refollow people, and that's usually when I'll do a couple tweets. I don't tweet every day. Also, part of that is now that we did link our Facebook page to it, and that's tweeting for us, which is nice. Because I used to have to go in, I would tell Facebook that we've got this show coming up, I have to go tell Twitter we've got this show coming up, so it's nice that it'll do that for me. Facebook I go into more often just because I'm in Facebook, it's easier for me to, I don't have to log out of my Twitter account to get to the way I have to log out of Twitter to get to Synetic. I don't have to log out of my Facebook account, I can just pull up the page and play with it from there. So I would say I probably, not long, 2 hours a week max. It's just because it's in little increments at a time. It's just part of the way I will sit around and look at my Facebook and my Twitter. When I'm doing that, I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll check Synetic. It's not the way I do it is not very formal. Yeah.
I have a lot of people asking that same question. We give presentations to bosses who are wondering how do we let our employees Twitter and Facebook throughout the day, how is it useful, why is it useful? And the answer I give to them is we also give a lot of answers on return on investment, right? So if I'm spending money with my employees using Facebook and Twitter, how am I gonna get money back, as a business owner, right? And I don't know if that's what you're doing or not, but, I think a lot of people tend to look at these mediums as, like accessories, like, oh, we don't, like, they're just kind of out there and we're not sure how to use them. But the truth of the matter is, there's companies that are like really boosting the amount of money they're making. Like, my favorite example on Twitter is Naked Pizza. I don't know if you've ever heard of Naked Pizza. It's a pizza place in Louisiana that put a billboard up one day to follow us on Twitter, right? And they tracked it. They tracked how many customers they were getting from their Twitter feed. They engaged their consumer.
Right.
And they found that they upped their bottom line that year by 15% just based on people just visiting them from Twitter.
Yeah.
Now they're doing things, and JetBlue does this really well. There's a bunch of companies that do it well. They offer specials just to their Twitter community, right? So if you're a business owner and you're thinking about, wow, like JetBlue does a great thing. They do a loss leader program where they offer $1 flights every Monday just through Twitter, right? And if you're part of that community, you're going to hear it. Now, JetBlue, once you get in that community, all of a sudden they have your ear all the time, right? So that's where the value comes in business-wise.
Like there are,
I'm joining right now because you said that.
Seriously.
Right, it's amazing,
Why
right?
would
So you
that
enjoy it
happen?
because all of a sudden it's useful to you.
Right.
And that's like, it's so much more than.
Right, and it depends on your business and how your business uses it. Like
Absolutely.
like for some businesses, like for your plumber, they may not have a reason to use Twitter. Your dentist may not have a reason to use Twitter, and that's okay. Twitter is not if not everyone needs Twitter. That is not true. A lot of people can use it, and there are a lot of different ways to use it, but it is not like the found user. It's not the magic answer. Yeah.
Yes, well, that brings me to this, and I'll just throw this up, if anybody wants to comment. I'm with Green Burial Pittsburgh. We do environmentally friendly burial, and most of our clients are dying, old, or dead. And I don't know how many of them use Twitter, so I just thought, I mean.
That's not the same problem that we're having. I work at a small newspaper, and the problem that we're having is we have a really old readership.
Right.
And we're trying to we have a huge audience that we can be hitting if we can figure out how to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that we're having is, at the end of the day, we have to spend time on the paper because week to week we have to get it out.
Right.
But we know that in the long term, we don't want to be spending time on the paper, we want to be spending time on these other forms. And so we're trying to figure out week to week, what's the threshold where we can sustain this internet thing and transition out of one and into the other over a long period of time.
I think you can establish a pretty decent internet presence with pretty low time commitment. This stuff is not hard. It's very simple. It's a matter of understanding what the tools are and knowing how to use them well. It's very easy. They're just sort of simple etiquette rules, or not etiquette, but best practices of that looks tacky. If you, again, my opinion, if you send a thanks for following message, that looks tacky. I don't like it.
Does the social media world forgive learning while you're doing it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's
everybody started not knowing what's going on.
Right.
Everybody gets that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good about it. I think because a lot of people are more excited that you're starting out.
Even on an organizational level, even if we have a brand in print that we're.
Yeah, I think, okay, that actually brings me to another point, is that be human. It's even if you're, if you're tweeting as an organization, that's fine, but be a person behind that.
Yeah.
I think it's not a bad thing to say, Kathleen at Synetic, that would be fine for me to put here so I'm not the only one who ever tweets. And I don't actually work for them, and I'm not an actor. I just really, Ellen is that I'm a really big fan, and I'm friends with the actor, and so I get to do stuff for them. But that, when you're human, then people, can engage with you, and you can, say sort of, silly stuff, or, you're much, much more relatable. And I can't remember what you just said that got me onto that point.
An organization.
Are they forgiving?
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Because you can just say, hey, we're just learning about this.
Yeah.
And people say that, and that's fine. And everyone will be like, oh, yay, you're new to Twitter. Yay, we love newcomers. We're there is a learning curve, and it's awkward. Joining Twitter is awkward. It is an awkward social network to join. It is uncomfortable. because you're just talking to, it feels like you're talking to no one at first, because you don't have any followers.
One of the things that's suggested is to first listen.
Yep.
So if you sign up for Twitter, maybe listen to the news, like CNN, breaking news, just follow the news first. And then as you become more familiar, you'll know who to follow, what to listen out for. And also too, I use Twitter to follow people in a particular industry, like I'm an educator. So I will follow people who teach what I'm teaching. And it's almost like instant access to experts.
Yeah.
That's how I use it.
You expand your community outside of what's local.
Eventually, yeah.
Right.
So you're listening out, and then when you begin to tweet back, people search for whatever you have to say.
Right.
As you indicated, and then you begin to pick up those followers.
Yeah.
So that's something to think
In a
about.
sense, you're like lurking for a while.
Yep, exactly. And that's,
We-
you're just a fly on the wall, and that's great, that's good. Again, that's, don't broadcast.
And just one other little observation that may be helpful. There's something called digital citizenship that you may want to just kind of familiarize yourself with that whole concept of what it means to be in this digital world today. Just as some background information about what's appropriate, what's not, what you're putting out there, how people are filtering that.
It's not hard to use your judgment about what things you should or should not say online. Some people are just really dumb about it. Like, assume that your employer can read it. Assume that potential employers can read it. Like, I'm a college student and I would like someone to hire me. I mean, I tweet as myself. I will, whine about whatever, but I also do that knowing that my potential employers can very easily look at that. And if I'm portraying myself as like a whiny, obnoxious student, they're not going to want to hire me. I wouldn't want to hire me. So I think it's not that hard to balance being yourself online, which I think is really important. Like for a personal account, it's important and really fun to just sort of be yourself. But it's also not that hard to be smart about it.
What about sending direct messages?
Say that again.
What about using direct messages? What do you do that?
A lot of times if you're having a conversation on Twitter that's just between you and somebody else, eventually I'll take it just to direct messages. If you have a question that's sort of a little more discreet, I don't really feel like publicizing that I'm whatever. But I want to ask that somebody, that's totally fine. I don't know if I would suggest, don't spam your followers with direct messages. It's kind of annoying. I mean,
The mass DM is the best way to get it. The mass DM, when you send it to everybody, is the best way to get one.
it's
Or auto direct messages.
right.
The second thing was
Those
like a
make-
human element.
I hate them.
Can you send a direct message to people that are not following
No,
you?
No.
thankfully. Only people who follow you can send you direct messages, which actually gets really annoying when you follow someone and they direct message you, but they're not following you. Like, I can't respond to you. But, no, it's good, because I would, if somebody is direct messaging me too much, and I'm not good with it, I'll unfollow them, they can't anymore. And that's fine.
What is
I'm
your
a libel and slander law, people are, let's resource do that.
I just don't quite get
There's, I think it's still being figured out, one thing, I know I spoke to a class once and they were sort of asking this. One thing is that if it's something that somebody else says about you, it's not necessarily authorized. No one thinks that it's authorized, that they said that about you. But I think as far as legal stuff, I think it's still being figured out. It is
People
something-
spread vicious rumors
Right.
about you and,
Right.
that you're sleeping with your secretary or whatever.
They can do that in real life too. I think I don't know.
But if they did it in the paper, they come under legal liability, but in the tweet.
They are, it's just starting to happen, sorry.
Right. No, I was just
I don't know, we're gonna say the same thing, but there was a woman who, like sued someone over a comment where someone called her like a nasty word. I mean, a model actually, and someone called her a nasty word, and she sued, and she actually got, millions of dollars.
The same rules apply.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, a lot of things are confusing about it, like, these, like, you're no longer anonymous online. And that, like, and that's okay, like, I use, where like, 10 years ago, you didn't use your real name. Or like, people you met in chat rooms, like, you would never meet them. Like, if people I met, like, online, if I were, like, on meeting with people I met online, that's weird. It's not anymore. You are, like, I use my name, I put my name online, I'm Kathleen Danielson. Because it's also, it's part of my professional persona. It's like, I'm building a reputation for myself. And there's a lot more accountability because of that.
Well, I'm just sitting here realizing that there are probably at least a dozen Facebook friends of mine who I've never met who are at this podcast. I'm wondering,
That's what I go to replay though.
Absolutely.
Can I ask one question about Facebook? How do you, one thing that interests me is, there are some people that, I think they friend me supposedly, except that I never see a feed or a message or in other words, are there levels of Facebook friends? I mean, that's just sort of elementary.
A lot of people don't
No,
post
it's
at
not.
all.
You mean, they're just not posting. If they
Yeah.
posted, I would see it,
Yeah, I mean,
once they're my friend?
yeah,
you
and
would
there's,
say
Privacy settings and things
Yeah.
like that, he'll be like, oh, I don't want this to show up.
right, so some people
Yeah.
that were like friends, like they're like people who are their close friends can maybe see some stuff, but they'll set like, their coworkers so they can't maybe see their pictures or whatever. Most of the people I just get confused by Facebook's all their different policy settings. I just keep what I do on Facebook, again, like employer safe. Like I'm not, my Facebook friends are more select than my Twitter friends. I mean, there are lots of people who are friends on Facebook who I don't know that well, but like I know, but there are a lot, anybody can follow me on Twitter. Anyone can see what I say. I at least have to like acknowledge the relationship on Facebook, but even so, because it is easy enough to find somebody's Facebook page, I'll keep it all like employer safe, even though it's a little bit more of me coming out.
So she is right, if somebody friends me on Facebook and I never see anything in the,
Yeah, they might
on the
not
board,
be- they
they're
might not.
probably just not posting, it's
Yeah.
not like they're excluding me or
Right.
something like that. That's like,
The other thing, somebody mentioned unfollowing on Twitter. Do you get a message on that or not?
No, well, you can. This is really dumb. There are, that's a personal thing. If somebody unfollows me, that's fine. I don't want to know about it. I'll just, it'll hurt my feelings. But no, if I'm tweeting too much, like this weekend, I'm tweeting a ton. I'll probably get unfollowed a bunch, and that's fine because if somebody's like clogging up my Twitter stream, I'll unfollow them because I don't necessarily want to hear it. There are some applications that will let you know, oh, this person unfollowed you. But no, normally you will not get a notification. There's nothing on
No,
Right.
when you unfriend somebody on Facebook, they don't notify.
No, exactly. I don't want to know. I'll take it personally, and I'm sure there's no reason to.
Right.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
yes, how does the, quaint, mechanism of email, factor into all this? In other words, I mean, that's also a tool of communication and conversation and.
I think, actually, you probably know more about this than me. Email messages are still really important. Sending out blast emails are really important. Also, I email my friends. I use email to communicate with people. If it's not, once it's somebody I know, I'm not gonna send them a direct message, I'll send them an email. I'll send Sarah emails now. We just met on Twitter the other day because we came from the same area here. And I probably will not direct message her anymore. I have her email, I'll send her emails.
Or send her a message on Facebook.
Right, I can do that. Again,
Emails don't work better.
right. I don't know, it's sort of personal, isn't it? There's no real set rules.
What people are finding is actually Laura does this really well. Email's still like that main, when you have something a lot to say, it's still that main place to go. But think of it as different strands, you know, of a spider web. And all of a sudden now, email's not connected to Facebook, which is connected to Twitter. So like Laura and my account too, when you email somebody, she links to all of her feeds, right? So if you meet over Twitter or Facebook, you said that already? I wasn't here, sorry. But yeah, so
say it again, who do you know Twitter?
So yeah, so she links to all of her feeds, so
Like in the signature.
it's in her email signature. So say we met over Facebook and we transfer the conversation to email, it's now seamless. But like, I would definitely encourage that integration. You know, if you're going to be on these different mediums, use them together. And that's not necessarily meaning put your Twitter feed into your Facebook thing, but it is to link to. Yeah, some people do, but it's I don't like it, but you know, it's personal preference.
I'm gonna actually let people go because the like next things. Oh wait,
Lunch.
lunch next. Okay, whatever. But you can still go. You can go anyway. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say with email and everything, it's still very important to have that. All of this social media has to be complementary to it, not invasive of it. Because I'll have someone call me on the phone who's like a restaurant owner and she'll say, I'm 75 years old, I'm not getting Twitter. And I'm like, absolutely not, of course you're not. But you still need to connect with that audience as well. So this is just a way to broaden it out to.
Text Mobster.
Pardon me?
Text Mobster, I got a thing to my phone, Text Mobster.
Spam.
What?
That's spam.
Spam.
Lobster, yeah.
Because I can't read it, it just came in and I deleted it.
Yeah, delete before it gives you a virus.
Well, it's a paid
The adult
service
page.
where they'll send out.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the website, you get an account for whatever it is, and then you can blast, do text message blasts. I didn't know whether they were using it for podcast.
Yeah, they don't build your credibility quickly.
I just got it this weekend, so.
Yeah. Don't act like a robot. Be human. Listen.
That's good life lesson.
What's happening? What's happening with IMing these days? It seems to be going away for a lot of people.
I still use it. I use Gchat.
I use Gchat.
Which I then have actually recently put back into an IM.
On Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook has an IM now.
Or does Twitter too?
No, but there's lots of IMs.
Yeah. Yeah, I IM is personal communication. I would never, there are some times when you would use IM for business. Like I know our library at school has an IM account, and that's really great because I can be like, I am a librarian, be like, you know, you help me find this resource.
My son will only IM me, he won't answer
Right.
emails.
Right, I usually, because that's like getting in touch with my brother, my parents will call my brother, and I'll just IM and then I'll get it much faster. So, yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you have more questions, feel free to stick around.